അസുഖം എന്ന് പറയുന്ന ഒരു പേഷ്യന്റ് അങ്ങനെ ഉണ്ടാവരുത്. അതിനുവേണ്ടി എന്തെങ്കിലും ചെയ്യാൻ പുതിയ ടെക്നോളജി ഉപയോഗിക്കാൻ കഴിയുമോ?
At some point in time, but yeah,
Hospital is all about care. But what extra is Maitra doing for its patients?
right? Because when they approach a doctor, it's an element of trust for the doctor to provide the best of care and services, and this is going to be the enabler that will bridge the gap between the doctor and the patient. You know, there is a lot of unnecessary perceptions about success, wealth, and happiness.
May I invite the speaker for the day, Mr. Nihaj G. Mohammed, the Chief Executive Officer of Maitra Hospital. With a robust tenure in healthcare leadership, Nihaj's focus has always been on driving excellence and innovation in medical services at Maitra Hospital. His mission is twofold: to deliver world-class healthcare that sets new industry standards and to foster a culture that prioritizes patient well-being and employee growth. In his recent transition from COO to CEO at Maitra Hospital, he has been instrumental in streamlining operational efficiency while maintaining a patient-centric approach. Welcome, Nihaj sir, onto this auspicious video of My Business, My Future. Over to the moderator.
Maitra has been a game changer when it comes to the healthcare industry, especially in this part of the country, I must say. What prodded you to step into the healthcare industry? Because if I'm, Mr. Faisal, they've been in the manufacturing sector, and suddenly from there they've diversified into these two, healthcare.
So thank you so much, sir. Good afternoon to everybody. It's a very interesting question. From engineering background to more of healthcare, it's a very giant leap of faith, to be very honest. So when I spoke to chairman, I had a similar question before I joined Maitra. And what he told me is, when he exited out of his successful businesses, both with ETC, which is a steel foundry in Sharjah, and then he also had a successful exit from KEF Infra, which is pretty much a prefab unit based out of Krishnagiri. When he spoke to his family, they realized that there are hospitals in Calicut, but he wanted to bring something very new, something that could probably be rivaled to what you could say is one of the best in the world, to Calicut. And he happened to meet with a few good friends in Cleveland Clinic, and they decided to set a protocol you call standards of care that is considered to be the best in the world. Then he started with infra, he started with the process, he started with doctors, and that's pretty much how he put Maitra together. So if I were to sum it up in one word, I would say that he wanted to bring the best in the world to his hometown in Calicut, and he wanted this to be the benchmark in which every other healthcare institution in India, as well as in Calicut, as well as in the region, would look up to. So that is probably the motivation he had. Give something back to his community, but always set the standards for that.
Wonderful, wonderful. So giving back to the community is big time. But the investment, I'm sure, must have been a huge one.
That's right.
So, and I'm told that this is only phase one of Maitra. So what is the next phase for you?
So, well, I would say that, we have an ambition to expand. But when you look at phase two, I would say that is where we are. That in the sense, like, we want to move out of Calicut, we want to go into other tier 1 cities as well. So the proof of product has to be perfected back home in Calicut, which we have almost managed to do. We would expand our 200 beds to close to 350 beds now. That is already in the cards. It's just about the corner. We are putting the budgets together for all of that. But the idea is, when we move out of Calicut, we want to be more or less, we would be known as Cleveland Maitra at that point. So we will be Cleveland's, well, technically I can't say anymore that Cleveland's first hospital outside the US, because they have one in Abu Dhabi. They were my next door neighbors when I was with another organization. But this precisely would be where I think the chairman is driving the organization to. He wants to build a Cleveland Mitra brand outside of Calicut. That will be phase 2 for us.
This is a rather technical, tough question that I'm going to throw at you.
Pass. Let's not do it.
That technology, artificial intelligence, has come in so much. Do you think the prominence of doctors or your investment in doctors is going to go down and investment in technology is going to take a forward seat?
Honestly, sir, I believe that when you look at, everybody talks about AI these days, right? Artificial intelligence. It seems to be projected in a way that it will eventually surpass human capabilities and eventually will outrun the human race as well, which I think is absolutely wrong. What I understand of how AI is growing in healthcare, it will only improve the doctor's efficiency to perform care. Unlike in other parts of the world, for example, if you were to look at a top-rated, let's say, cardiologist in the US, he would see about 10, 15, 20 patients a day. While I would believe that my cardiologist would see 100, 120 people a day. There is an element of their efficiency going down as they try to, see people who are actually approaching him for care. So AI, I would see as an enabler, as a what do you call it, a pet friend that will kind of come in and probably give the right inputs, right suggestions to the doctor, so that in that frenzy of what he's trying to do for the patient, he doesn't miss out on the minimal elements of what he would call as healthcare. So I don't believe that it will ever replace the doctor. If my doctor friends are here, probably, that is more a surety rather than anything else. So I believe it will only enable the doctor to perform better services, better care. And eventually I believe that, that is what patients also need, right? Because when they approach a doctor, it's an element of trust for the doctor to provide the best of care and services. And this is going to be the enabler that will bridge the gap between the doctor and the patient.
This is a question which I'd like to, which I put forward to Vardhini Madam earlier. Hospital is all about care, but what extra is Mitra doing for its patients?
Difficult question. I remember hearing to Madam, and she was explaining the expectations of the customer. It is not different for our patients as well. Especially when you look at healthcare, you can only do a certain thing certain way. Like, for example, there is only one or two methods of how you can do delivery of a patient. There is no other way of doing it. You can't use a magic wand and ask the patient to deliver a baby, right? So in medical practices, most of what you see is standardized right now.